While modern-day Supreme Court nominees look to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's 1993 confirmation as the guideline for declining to discuss how they'd potentially rule on hot-button issues, Democrats apparently want to break with that precedent and say it's only fair that Judge Kavanaugh tell them how he personally feels about certain topics. Joining me now to discuss is former law clerk to Justice Anthony Kennedy and Judge Brett Kavanaugh. It is great to see you tonight, to have you with us as we look ahead and see where this is going. Justin, you were with us last week. I wasn't here, but you were reacting, I'm sure, to the selection of, or the potential selection of Judge Kavanaugh. Now that we know he's the man, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm so excited for him. I'm so excited for the country. I think the country got just a little bit of a glimpse of what Judge Kavanaugh is like as a judge and as a person when he gave that great speech from the White House on the night of his announcement. And I think the more they learn about him, how he coaches his little girls' basketball team, how he's been a judge on the second most important court in the country for 12 years, and how he has stood time and time again for important principles of judicial restraint, independence, fair-mindedness, I think America is just going to love Brett Kavanaugh.
You know that there are some conservatives who are concerned about him. Let me read you a little bit from a David French opinion piece. He says this about the president. He went establishment. He chose a man that any Republican president would have nominated. He made the best safe choice he could. The president blinked. There was, for the first time in Trump's judicial wars, a palpable sense of opportunity lost.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I mean, there's just not a single word in that statement that is true or based on fact. And I say that as an admirer of David French, who often agrees with the things that he writes. But, you know, this idea, first of all, that David French raised, look, Judge Kavanaugh is the opposite of a conventional Georgetown cocktail party D.C. elite. He'd much rather have a beer and watch a hockey game. And then in terms of the kind of judge he is the definition of extraordinary. He may be the most qualified and credentialed nominee to the Supreme Court in a generation or two. 12 years on the D.C. Circuit, 300 opinions, and maybe most impressively of all, 13 different vindications by the Supreme Court of an opinion that Judge Kavanaugh wrote. That is an unparalleled record of excellence.
Okay, so let's talk about this idea now. The Democrats say that they expect him when he sits down for his hearing, that they want to hear how he personally feels about a number of things. Here is Chuck Schumer, of course, the Senate's top Democrat.
The next nominee has an obligation, a serious and solemn obligation, to share their personal views on these legal issues.
But here's what Justice Ginsburg said in her confirmation hearing back in 1993.
A judge sworn to decide impartially can offer no forecasts, no hints, for that would show not only disregard for the specifics of the particular case, it would display disdain for the entire judicial process.
So how do you see this playing out for Judge Kavanaugh?
Well, Judge Ginsburg was exactly correct. I expect Judge Kavanaugh to explain to the committee that he's happy to talk about his approach to the law in general terms, and that approach includes fidelity to the text of statutes and the Constitution. It includes an appreciation for history and structure and precedent. But I think, you know, this idea that Judge Kavanaugh should be the first Supreme Court nominee to talk about his personal views on hypothetical situations, first of all, you know, it's unprecedented. Secondly, it misconstrues the role of a judge. The judge's personal views should not come into play. A judge should not invent the law. A judge should simply apply the law as it's written.
Well, hypotheticals will always get you in trouble. We learned that in law school. Justin Walker, thanks for being with us tonight. See you again soon.